As soon as Omega declared that now he can be the fastest samurai, Kon face-bombed himself. Ah, he really took after my Chinibu personality trait. I wonder how many years it will take him to come out of it. He thought, but the next second, Omega's expression turned insidious as he let out a grin. Hey, Rudra, why don't you come out? How about we play a little? Asked Omega in a sinister tone. The generals quickly understood what Omega was trying to pull off here, and all of them raised their thumbs in support. Hee, the snake is so done, spoke Cyril. That bastard was laughing at us when those wolves thrashed us, said Oliver as he vividly remembered Rudra calling all of them losers when Vilgax beat them outside the first door. And recently, when Skoll and Hattie used the generals' attack skills against each other, he was laughing hysterically while they got their asses handed to them. Only Omega was the one who never demeaned the generals or made fun of them. And Rudra was like that annoying roommate who no one liked but had to put up with him because they were weaker. And now that Omega was the strongest, they all wanted to settle the score with Rudra. And the basilisk was reaping what he sowed. I am not fully recovered yet. You don't want to fight the mighty me on only half of my strength, do you? Don't tell me you're that shameless and petty, replied Rudra from Kon's shadow. This earthworm, cursed Omega, who just chickened out. But suddenly, Omega's gaze turned to Kon and spoke with a serious tone. Master, do you remember the 2 wisps they gifted me? Yes. Didn't you say they gave you knowledge? Asked Kon. Yes, but after this evolution, I have gained the ability to use that knowledge about using the bloodlines and unlock 2 different transformations, said Omega. What? What do you mean? Asked Kon with a surprised face. What I mean is, said Omega and revealed the real meaning behind his words. I can take 2 different battle forms. Not just Kon, but everyone else had a curious expression. Show us, said Jugram. In the following moments, Omega's body was covered under a white and blue flame, and right before everyone's eyes, a white armor suddenly appeared out of nowhere, and Omega was completely covered under it, as if this armor was part of his body. His black arm remained the same, and his right leg also tuned black, but this time, there was blue fire coming out of the corners. Along with these 2 noticeable changes, some parts of the armor also turned black. Around his right shoulder was the head of a white wolf, the other was covered in fur. Even Omega's eyes turned bright blue in this transformation. As for the head, it was covered in a white mask that completely hid his face. Kon was instantly reminded of Skoll, the white wolf, who also shared these features, as well as blue eyes and runes over his head and some parts of the body. I shall call it the Moonlight Armor, declared Omega. In the following moment, his white and blue aura and world energy suddenly covered Raijin, and right before everyone, it went from blood-red colored to a white and blue blade. Even the sheath and the hilt turned completely white. So he can even use world energy and the bloodline effect to transform his katana? Spoke Cyril as he noticed the composition of the blade. In this form, I am 4 times faster than usual, and also, my accuracy and maneuverability are greatly enhanced, revealed Omega, and the very next moment, he let out his aura and lightning gathered over the now transformed Raijin. Swoosh! Omega moved so fast that even Kon couldn't see his speed or movement before he completely disappeared. Swoosh! Swoosh! All the generals and Kon were suddenly surrounded by a whirlwind, and right in front of them, dozens of Omega's afterimages that had surrounded them on all the sides appeared, as if Omega was running in a circular path around them. Swish! Soon, the number of afterimages increases by many times, and in just 20 seconds, there was more than 100 Omega sprinting around them. And even Ronin, who was the fastest amongst the generals before this new evolution, was having a hard time seeing through his real location. So basically, Omega was already beyond their comprehensive speed, and in this state, if he ever fought against an enemy, the opposite side won't even know how or when they died. Rumble! Rumble! He suddenly stopped his sprint, and using his new skills, Omega lifted a giant 100-meter-tall boulder out of the ground that was at least 1 kilometer away from where the gang stood. And before anyone could grasp the situation, he made a slashing attack with Raijin. Slash! Bang! The massive boulder was split in half instantly just by Omega swinging his katana from 1 kilometer away. There was no aura, no mana, and a wave of energy that left Raijin and struck the boulder. Khan and all the generals had their eyes wide open with a flabbergasted expression. Because just like how Khan could use the dimensional cut skill, Omega had created his own version using the gravity law in this moonlight armor form. So basically, he didn't even need to directly hit his enemies to kill them if they were inside the 1 kilometer radius, which seemed to be his current effective range for this skill. Bang! The split boulder fell on the ground and he looked at the... I named this attack as Lunar Fang Strike, declared Omega. At this moment, Omega was very happy inside as he finally got the opportunity to show off in front of everyone. This is too strong. Even a 4th stage saint will not be able to see this attack coming, and they may be gravely injured if they let this attack strike their body. Spoke Khan as he found the resemblances of this attack. Although it wasn't absolute like Khan's dimensional cut that he got because of the divine ability, Omega's Lunar Fang Strike wasn't very far behind. And exactly when everyone thought that Omega was done flexing, he spoke with a smile on his face. Allow me to show you my second form. Omega now had an elated expression as he was happy to be able to flex his superiority on everyone for the first time while looking incredibly humble on the outside. The moonlight armor form was already too OP even for someone at 3rd stage saint rank. But now, Omega was about to reveal his second form. Here I go, he said. Shwua! The following second, Omega's entire body was covered in black and red flames, and so was Raijin. Unlike before, there was a hint of chaotic aura filled with bloodlust emitting from him, and the surrounding was suddenly filled with an oppressive force that made everyone feel like they were drowning underwater. And finally, Omega donned in black and red armor, silver hair, and a black mask with white fangs on it was revealed to them. On his left shoulder was a head of a black wolf, while the other one was covered in black fur. Raijin had also gone through another transformation as the white and blue blade had turned black and fiery red in this new form. This time it was the left arm and leg that was on scarlet red fire around the corners, while Raijin itself emitted intense flames as the entire blade itself looked hot as magma. In contrast to the previous form, his eyes glowed dark red, even more menacing than his new human form. I shall call it the Twilight Armor, spoke Omega after he revealed his second battle form. Khan, on the other hand, could see the resemblance between this form and Hattie, the Black Wolf brother, who also had a pitch-black body and red runes and patterns on his head and some parts of the body. In this form, I'm even slower than my human form and less precise while fighting, let on the Moonlight Armor mode, said Omega and continued with a slight grin. However, now, I'm far more powerful than both the forms combined. He revealed in an excited tone. My strength is multiplied by 4 times and the effectiveness and damage output of all my attack skills is greatly enhanced, he clarified. And finally, he decided to display the effects of this mode. Cast a levitation spell on everyone, spoke Omega to Cyril. And right after everyone rose 200 meters high in the air, Omega suddenly appeared 2 kilometers away from their previous spot. He unsheathed Raijin and grabbed it with both hands. A black and red aura suddenly appeared around the blade of the katana. Heaven's subjugation, said Omega and quickly swung his katana in a vertical slash. Black Fang Strike, and right before everyone's eyes, an immeasurably heavy aura slash attack filled with pure destructive power landed on the ground in the front. Slash! Bang! Boom! Crackle! Shatter! A loud burst of slashing attack destroyed the entire ground in 2 kilometers length. Now, only a massive explosion caused by Omega's new attack skill completely obliterated the ground in front. The aftershocks and tremors cracked the ground open, and a 100 meters wide and 2 kilometers long deep crevice was revealed to all the generals and Khan who were afloat in the air. Had they been present on the ground, they would have died on the spot if that slashing attack accidentally hit them. And now everyone understood why Omega told them to go away. And most importantly, Khan noticed that the ground hit with that skill wasn't just blown away or ripped apart. Rather, it was completely pulverized till there were no traces of even sand left. Contrary to Lunar Fang Strike, which was extremely fast, clean, and precise, The Black Fang strike was simply too powerful and destructive. Based on the range and aftermath, Khan deduced that it was already at least 20 times stronger than his Dragon Strike. This twilight armor form of Omega was no different than the personification of destruction and brute strength. Bloody hell! Not only his ranks and levels are higher, his gravity law skills and these two battle forms are more than enough to take us all out in a fight even if he was on the same level as us. Even all of us ganging up on him won't change the outcome of the battle. Spoke Jug Ram, the most versatile and seasoned fighter amongst Khan's subordinates. You're right. None of you can surpass him now even if you all fought Omega together. Even I wouldn't be his match at the same levels if I didn't have these gravity law and space law skills that can help me counter him. Dimensional Cut is the only skill I have that could help me kill him if we were enemies in a battle to the death, said Khan as he analyzed the whole situation. The gravity law skills Omega inherited from Skull and Hattie were already too powerful. The Moonlight armor form basically made him untouchable even to Khan unless he used the True Dimension and Dimensional Cut attack skill while being on the same level as Omega. On top of it, the Twilight armor form was simply too chaotic and destructive battle mode where Omega could kill more than 20,000 enemies with a single move. Even if a third stage Saint was to fight him, he'd get plummeted to the ground and then get obliterated into nothingness in a battle. And more importantly, he was bound to become a god beast after he leveled up and met the requirements. So his skills and abilities would also improve and increase in terms of attack power, range, and effectiveness. Omega, the first ally Khan created after his arrival in Vantria, was now the strongest among them all, including Khan. And as everyone finally spent a lot of time accepting this new reality of theirs, Khan decided that it was time to depart for the next door and enter the third layer. Based on Skull and Hattie's words, there was another guardian inside. But now that Khan had Omega, a newfound sense of confidence and security came to his mind. All right, let's all leave, ordered Khan. But right when they were ready to depart, sniff, sniff, Omega sniffed as he noticed someone coming in their direction from 15 kilometers afar. Master, it's him. I think he noticed this door as well. He's coming over here at a fast pace, said Omega as he informed Khan. Damn, I can't even ignore him. He will find me in the inner layer anyway if I had to fight its guardian. All of you inside, said Khan and commanded his subordinates to hide in his shadow. 20 minutes later, a figure of a young man donned in white and blue mage robes appeared close to Khan. You sure took your time coming here, said Khan as he looked at this man who wore glasses and spoke his name, Ezekiel. Khan stood in front of the semi-saint mage from the Pureblood faction who was supposed to be his ally in this expedition to retrieve the Tablet of Arcana. And now, after finally entering the second layer of barrier, Khan met this brown-haired mage who entered from the other side of the intersection from the opposite side of the Verlassen fiefdom. When did you arrive? Did you also notice this world energy outbursts? Asked Ezekiel with a curious tone. Yes, that's why I found the direction and traveled here to see if there was anything noteworthy. And finally, I found the door. I think it's the way to get out of here, said Khan as he outright lied on the spot. Ah, I see. Then I wasn't the only one. But this place, it's completely different than the outside. It's like a separate plane of existence. The map didn't mention anything about the terrain, said Ezekiel as he nodded. And what's up this area? It feels like there was a battle between powerful beings, queried Ezekiel. Damn, cursed Khan in his mind. Thanks to Omega showing off his skills and destroying the nearby terrain while flexing his Moonlight Va Twilight forms, the place now looked like a ruined battlefield. Don't know. It was like this before I got here, responded Khan as he tried to cover up. So, should we depart? He asked to quickly shift the topic. All right then. Let's enter before that which finds this door as well, replied Ezekiel, and both of them departed for the second door. And after they finally entered the purple fog surrounding the massive door identical to the one from where Khan entered the last time, the mage and the swordsman entered the third layer of the forbidden region. Both young men were left speechless as soon as they saw the surroundings. Because contrary to the terrain and atmosphere of the second layer, which was filled with chaotic typhoons, charred ground, lightning striking from the sky, and magma running through various places. The scenario inside this place was completely different, as if it was a separate dimension. In front of the duo was nothing but a vast region filled with strong blizzards and tall mountains, as if they now stood in a desolate land. Everywhere they looked had only white snow and bone-chilling frost flowing in the air. "What the hell is this place?" asked Khan. "How come there's another hidden region? Shouldn't we be close to the tablet? Even my map has nothing about this area," spoke Ezekiel. "Of course it doesn't, because nobody ever entered inside," thought Khan, as he knew that Skol Vahadi were the ultimate guardians who were never defeated by anyone that ever came inside the forbidden region. Whoever entered the 15 kilometers close to the door was sensed and killed by the Wolf brothers, and hence, there was no one who could report back about the third layer either. Khan and Ezekiel were the only two people who entered this place for the first time in the past 150 years. "Let's go. We don't know how much time it will take for us to find the tablet. There's no point in staying here," said Khan. The duo then took out some ice resistance potions from their space rings and drank them to protect their bodies from this atmosphere. Khan didn't even need these potions because of his ice elemental affinity skills and passive resistance skills he got from the frost giants months ago when he ventured into the north. But to maintain the secrecy, he acted like he was greatly affected because of the environment. Soon, both of them embarked on a journey to find the Holy Grail while quickly passing through mountains and valleys. In the meantime, Khan released Oliver, Ronin, Cyril, and Omega from his shadow to look for the final guardian that protected this inner layer. Finding the guardian meant that they would also find the location of the Tablet of Arcana. And hence, the more eyes he had, the faster their mission will be completed. After 2 days of tireless searching, Khan and Ezekiel had traveled more than 2,000 kilometers using their respective skills and abilities, but still, they found nothing but a bunch of icicles and frozen mountains. On many occasions, Ezekiel ran out of mana and needed time to recharge using artifacts and mana cores, so Khan had no choice but to take some break himself. On the third day, which was the 5th day of their window to return home, Ronin, with his newly upgraded abilities and skills, finally found the Guardian and contacted Khan through the transmission artifact. "Master, I found the Guardian, but I think we should return to Verlassen," spoke Ronin. "Why?" asked Khan, who was currently hidden in an ice cave, resting and recuperating. "Because given the aura, I'm certain it's the very being that was controlling those legendary rank monsters who attacked our borders. And I just sent a clone of mine to inspect this creature. But it was killed just 15 kilometers away. I don't think we will survive against it no matter what we do. Losing our lives just to test the waters is not worth it." He replied, "What? How strong is it? Do you think Omega won't be able to handle it?" He queried. "The wolf may be able to survive, but I don't think it'll be the case for the rest of us even if we all fought together. And you, Master, will definitely die," he revealed in a cryptic tone. "I'm coming there, just keep on watch. We will decide later," replied Khan. "All right, I'll inform the wolf, Birdie, and Skull," said Ronin and cut off the transmission. When Omega, Cyril, and Oliver reached Ronin's location and sensed what kind of creature was guarding the Tablet of Arcana, all of them had an aghast expression after noticing the flying figure in the sky. Even someone like Omega felt a chill under his spine and exclaimed, "Damn! We need to go back." While the subordinates were already adamant about retreating, Khan was approaching their side and had traveled around 400 kilometers in just 2 hours using Quicksilver skill, which now reached its peak mastery. He told Ezekiel that he noticed something peculiar in the eastern end of this region and they needed to check it out. The reason he had the semi-saint mage to tag along with him was because even if he used a doppelganger, someone talented like Ezekiel would eventually figure out that it wasn't the real Khan. So he had to bring his allotted ally with him. At this exact moment, Omega and the 3 generals tried best to hide their auras. "Why do I feel like we're back in the Bromner dungeon?" said Omega as he saw the final guardian. "Yeah, I was having those flashbacks of our deaths as well when I saw it," spoke Ronin. "And it's even superior and higher ranked. We're certainly not its match," said Cyril. 2 more hours passed and the duo of the mage and the swordsman finally arrived close to a mountain range filled with a purple storm. Khan and Ezekiel, both of them were rooted on the spot when they saw a ginormous being flying in the sky. "All right, I'm outta here," said Khan. "What kind of nonsense is this? Why is something like that in the Rocco's empire?" exclaimed Ezekiel in surprise. At this moment, they stood 15 kilometers away from the final door and used their skills to focus at the sky that was lit purple, and a ginormous flying figure roamed the region around. It was so big that they could even see it from this long distance. Khan didn't think twice and decided to give up instantly after looking at this guardian. "Forget the stone tablet, forget these factions, and forget this mission. I'm not gonna die for this stupid-ass quest." He spoke in an exasperated voice, because the ginormous creature with 2 massive wings and a body full of black and purple scales that they would have to face to progress to the gate was a dragon. Omega and the rest of the generals surrounded Khan and Ezekiel from a few kilometers away as they kept a watch without revealing their aura. Khan was in a dilemma given the current scenario, because no way was he overconfident to think that he could defeat a dragon even if it was a low-leveled one. Just the magma drake inside the Brahmner dungeon had nearly killed him and all his subordinates back in Flavit City. "Wait, how about we try to distract it with something noticeable and then pass through the door while hiding using an invisibility artifact?" said Ezekiel. Khan rolled his eyes at this suggestion. "That only works on small fries. Can't you see, given its size and aura, it's at least a mythical rank dragon. Do you really think it won't be able to detect weaklings like us? Even if we were to lure it away, we still don't have anything worthy to garner its attention," spoke Khan as looked around the frosted terrain. "Even a mana bomb explosion wouldn't suffice, as it will be buried under the snow and get subdued by the blizzards very quickly." But right when Khan looked away, his survival instinct suddenly alarmed and he quickly made a slashing attack on his right. Clang! Lucifer's blade suddenly struck and cut through a dagger, but before he could react, a restriction barrier suddenly caged Khan. Shrill! Khan's whole body was out under immense oppressive pressure and he caved in. A massive explosion of mana dispersed in the surroundings as multiple layers of these magic formations and layers caused an immense surge of energy within the 2-kilometer radius. "What's the meaning of this, Ezekiel?" said Khan in a furious tone. His supposed ally suddenly used this restriction barrier and trapped him inside. "Sorry, Salvatore. There's no other way around it. If we want to get its attention, someone needs to make a sacrifice," spoke Ezekiel in a grim tone as he suddenly turned from a friend to foe. "Why? Aren't we supposed to be allies in this mission?" asked Khan as he dropped on the ground while his mouth and eyes started bleeding under this formation. "This bastard. He's using several epic rank artifacts and formations to trap me. Did he plan it all along?" thought Khan as his strength was reduced to only 30% of his original stats. "Why, you ask? Isn't it obvious? The one to retrieve the tablet of Arcana shall be me," declared Ezekiel. Did you plan this since the beginning?" asked Khan as he gave a deathly glare to the young mage. "Not exactly. I am just always prepared to make sudden changes in plan. Besides, you're not from our faction, so you don't know the importance of this mission. To you, it's just a deal you made with the faction leader. But for people like me from the Pureblood faction itself, it means our clan's future," he revealed. "The hell do you mean? Aren't you all on the same side?" queried Khan while maintaining his raged expression. "Ha! You don't even know what's happening in all the factions, yet you came to find the tablet? My, you really are nothing but just a puppet of the Vanderite clan," spoke Ezekiel in a condescending voice as he looked down on kneeling Khan. "Enlighten me, dipshit," responded Khan with a constricted face as he dropped on the ground because the pressure kept increasing. "It's nothing personal, Salvatore. Just that, if it's you who retrieves the tablet, I will be called a failure by my clan and the faction. But if it's me who gets it and delivers it to the main faction council, my future in the faction is secured and my grandfather will automatically become the next faction leader as a reward for me accomplishing the task. So naturally, I can't let you have the credit. I'll get the tablet and tell everyone about your great sacrifice," revealed Ezekiel as he tipped his glasses with an insidious smile on his face. "Then sacrifice yourself, you bastard," retorted Khan as blood dripped from his mouth. "Like everyone else says, you sure make a good bait. Well, be a good guy and keep the dragon busy," said the semi-saint mage, who suddenly turned on Khan without a second thought. The next moment, he used an artifact and disappeared from the spot. Omega! Slash! A swinging attack suddenly slashed open the suppression barrier and formations as Omega freed Khan. "That bastard! I really shouldn't have trusted him. In the end, he's just like the rest of them, trading lives for power," spoke Khan in a furious voice. But before he could let out his anger, Cyril's voice reached Khan's mind. "Master! It's coming here." The sudden massive surge of mana and energy quickly attracted the guardian dragon's attention, while Ezekiel quickly disappeared from their location, leaving Khan to become the prey for this ginormous creature. The reason why Khan immediately ordered Omega or Ronin to kill Ezekiel when he was caught in these multiple suppression barriers and epic rank artifacts was because he wanted to know the real reason why Ezekiel chose to betray him. And in the end, he came to know that the tablet was far more worth than what he imagined, since just retrieving it could make your clan's leader the next faction leader. What power or secrets did it hold? Khan had no idea. But to get it, Ezekiel didn't think for more than 2 seconds before making Khan the scapegoat. "Master, it's coming here." Cyril's voice resounded in his mind. "Damn it! We have no choice but to fight now," said Khan as he gave an understanding look to Omega, Oliver, and Cyril. "Ronin with me," he commanded. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The 3 subordinates disappeared from the spot, and a few seconds later, their figures appeared a few kilometers away high in the sky. The reason why Khan left the 3 to face the dragon that was presumably stronger than them was that it was a flying enemy and these 3 could fight it in the sky given their skills and abilities. Someone like Ronin, Blackwell, Jugram, and Armin would only serve as fodders in a battle, while Rudra wasn't even high-leveled or big enough to stand against it. Boom! 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 3 chaotic auras released themselves, and the subordinates activated all their skills and abilities while releasing their true forms. Omega in his 700-meter-tall Hrodvitner form stood at the front, while Oliver in his 600-meter-tall Thunderbird form took the sky. Cyril turned to his 100-meter-tall Dark Summoner form and quickly equipped Scythe of the Reaper and Book of the Damned, which greatly improved his skill effectiveness and attack damage output. Crack! Crack! Shatter! The nearby mountains cracked apart, and the ginormous boulders, as well as pointy spears made of stones, walls and pikes created from the sturdy ice, came to be. Omega was now using Skoll and Hattie's skills together, and soon, the 10-kilometer region turned into a battlefield full of debris. Crackle! Thunderclap! Rumble! Soon, dark clouds amassed in the sky and lightning crackled amongst them, while on the ground, dozens of massive tornadoes, some of which were even a kilometer in width alone, spread across the path of the approaching dragon as Oliver activated his lightning and wind elemental skills. 3 layers of darkness barriers formed around Cyril while he started charging his scythe with dark magic and prepared for a long-range attack. At this moment, they knew nothing about the skills of the enemy, but Omega, Oliver, and Cyril were trying to make a stand and at least stall it. Since the space inside the forbidden region and both the layers were sealed, Khan couldn't enter the true dimension and escape from this unfathomable monster. Learning from his past experiences with the draconian species, even without fighting it, he knew that only an inevitable death awaited him if he decided to engage the dragon in any way. Bang! Boom! Finally, the dragon, who entered the 10 kilometers radius, suddenly straight up barged through these massive stone boulders and spears like nothing happened as it flapped its wings. Khan, who was running away with Ronin, finally saw exactly how big this final guardian was. A 1-kilometer-tall dragon with black and purple scales, having dozens of archaic runes inscribed on its body and head, with a wingspan of 500 meters altogether, finally revealed itself as the keeper of the final door charge at their side. Bang! Crack! Oliver used Aerostorm's skill and attacked with 500 massive arrows made of different elements from the sky while gathering the lightning bolts in the air to use Vajra, his ultimate attack skill. Awiu! Omega used Fenrir's howl skill that could disorient any enemy as long as they were within 8 kilometers radius, and also used attraction and gravity downforce skills to pull down the dragon approaching from the sky. Ruorar. A massive purple and black aura was suddenly emitted from this dragon, and all the stone weapons and boulders created by Omega shattered in the air, and were forced to fall down under Omega's skills. Clang! Clang! But before it could charge at their side again, hundreds of massive black chains appeared from the ground and tried to bind the dragon's legs and wings as Cyril used the Chains of Judgment skill. "It's at least level 420, said Ronan as he sensed the dragon's aura. "I hope they can hold it for longer," spoke Khan as he still tried to retreat. "Almighty push," exclaimed Omega and used the repulsion skill this time to force the opponent to the ground again. Boom! Oliver attacked with a 50 meters long lightning bolt aka Vajra and struck the dragon. Bang! A massive explosion occurred and the rippling shockwaves destroyed nearly 3 kilometers of the landscape. So far, their teamwork seemed to be working. "Ha! Is that all?" Suddenly, an eerie and grim voice resounded in everyone's ear. Flap! The large dust cloud caused by the explosion suddenly cleared and a set of fierce eyes were revealed. The two-horned dragon with a large maw finally decided to speak after giving Khan's subordinates a chance to attack. Thud! Thud! "You're strong, but I'm stronger." Its tyrannical voice resounded in the entire region, and the very next moment, boom! Another massive explosion erupted, and Omega's control over his own gravity domain, Cyril's control over his Chains of Judgment, and Oliver's control over his tornadoes and elemental arrows were completely overthrown. Rio a war. An ear-deafening roar resounded in 20 kilometers radius, and even Khan, who was 15 kilometers away at this point, shuddered in fear as a chilling aura went under his skin. "Master, this dragon, he's affecting our minds. I'm losing control over my body," said Omega as he relayed this message to Khan. Suddenly, Cyril also sent another message. "That's the same purple aura that was controlling those legendary rank monsters. But most importantly, this isn't the main thing we should be afraid of," spoke Cyril. "Then what is it?" asked Khan in a frightened tone as 3 subordinates who could easily fight and take on a level 400 mythical rank monsters were easily suppressed from this dragon's roar alone. Cyril replied in an aghast voice as he made a mind-boggling revelation. "It is a darkness elemental dragon." At the present moment, the subordinates were doing their best to keep the dragon at bay and allow Khan to run away by attacking it from the sky, pulling it to the ground, and trying to bind it in a place so their master could get enough time to escape. But as soon as the guardian dragon decided to stop playing around, all of them suddenly lost control of their powers, and the guardian revealed itself to be a darkness elemental creature of all things. "Damn it! Why did it have to be a darkness elemental dragon?" cursed Oliver. The current situation was already unfavorable to the 3 subordinates holding the front. Not only were they low-leveled compared to the dragon, but it also had the darkness element, one of the strongest elements of reality. "Don't lose focus. We must stall it for enough time till Master safely escapes," said Omega as he used hundreds of giant spikes made from solid rocks and attacked the approaching enemy. Even though Omega and Oliver could use lightning elemental attacks and skills, the opponent was a being of darkness element. An equally strong element, and on top of it, it was a higher level compared to all of them. So the damage they could do here would already be minimized. Only Omega had somewhat chance to stand against this enemy. "Attack!" shouted Cyril and cast the Shadow Blade's barrage skill. Omega used Sword King skill and created 500 elemental katanas, each of which was 20 meters in length, while Oliver, on the other hand, prepared 5 Vajra lightning bolts and 500 varying elemental arrows. "Now!" shouted Omega. Swoosh! Shrill! Rumble! Thunder! A volley of multicolored weapons and attacks approached the dragon, who stood only 5 kilometers away from them at this point. But the look on the face of this ginormous creature was neither of alarm nor of worry. "Humph! Fools!" spoke the dragon, and right when the attacks entered 1 kilometer close to it, the dragon suddenly opened its long maw, but instead of spewing the classic old dragon fire, it spewed a fire that quickly formed a 300 meters wide black wormhole suddenly and faced all the incoming attacks. and right before their eyes, all of their attacks and skills passed through the hole, but there was no impact whatsoever. Shwoom! Shwoom! The three subordinates had horrified expressions on their faces as they watched all of their attacks getting engulfed in his black wormhole. In the following moment, a multicolored wave of energy exited the other end of this black hole, and this force made of mana, world energy, and different elements passed inside the dragon's body as if it was a filtered and pure version of their attack was synthesized. The dragon closed its eyes and gave an elated expression. "Thanks for the meal," spoke the dragon as he gave a coy smirk. "Damn nanny!" exclaimed Khan, who saw the scene through Cyril's vision. All of their combined attacks that were more than enough to kill a fourth-stage saint were simply eaten. So far, not only this boss could render them unable to use their skills temporarily using that purple aura to get a hold of their mind, it could also suck in and absorb their attacks through that black hole engulfment skill. And from the looks of it, it felt like the dragon himself absorbed the energy and mana from their collective attack. 200 years. I haven't had a decent meal in the past 200 years ever since I was defeated and kidnapped from the Dragon Empire. That wretched human forced me to become this place's guardian and sealed me here. And finally, I have seen someone else here other than me. Revealed the dragon in its majestic and domineering voice. "You three, I don't know how you got here, but attack me together and entertain me. I might as well let you all live," spoke the dragon as it made a deathly command. "System. What the hell is that power? And exactly what kind of dragon is this?" asked Khan. The specimen in front of the host is a lesser dragon, the weakest kind among the true dragon species. The ability it possesses is called the Plunderer. It allows its user to engulf and transform different forms of mana, elements, and world energy to absorb and raise its strengths. The more energy transformed and absorbed by the user, the quicker their levels and world energy reserves will rise. This ability is a legendary rank innate ability, extremely rare even among the strongest species and creatures of the world. Reported the system in one single go. Blood hell. Doesn't that mean the attack made the three actually empowered it? How can someone so big and OP just be a lesser dragon? Asked Khan in a baffled tone. Yes, replied the system. All of you, retreat. Don't attack it. Khan quickly warned all of them before they made another move. Any more attacks and they might as well help their enemy to level up and become far stronger than it already was. But Master, you'll die if it finds you, replied Cyril. I can hold it for a while. You all should escape. I can be revived even if I die, but Master can't, spoke Omega through their mental link. Don't worry about it. I have a plan, replied Khan. He suddenly stopped in his way. He looked at Ronan and gave a command. Ronan nodded and then disappeared from the spot. As for Khan, he changed his direction, and instead of running away, he sprinted towards the battlefield between the dragon and his subordinates. System, pull those three in my shadow. They'll die a useless death if they stay there, commanded Khan. In the following seconds, the three generals turned into massive black shadows and quickly charged toward Khan's direction. The dragon was left speechless as it saw these massive creatures suddenly change shape and turn into black shadows. Finally, after 5 minutes, the three shadows merged with Khan and he stood atop a mountain peak just 3 kilometers away from the dragons. There was no fear or sense of worry in Khan's eyes as he faced this mythical rank lesser dragon. Interesting. You are so weak, but you're not trying to run away from me, said the dragon as it looked down on Khan. Tell me, who are you? It asked in a tyrannical voice that shook the nearby terrain. Me? You could say that, spoke Khan with a focused look on his face and replied in a motivated voice. I am the storm that is approaching. Khan stood with a fearless gaze in his eyes as if he felt no sense of threat against this massive 1-kilometer-tall creature, who could even take on 3 of his strongest subordinates on its own while remaining completely unaffected. Wait a moment. How can you speak the draconian language? Asked the dragon as it suddenly realized that Khan could converse with it. I have had few friends from your species, spoke Khan with a smile. Nonsense. A mere human befriending our kind? Shameless lies, exclaimed the dragon in a furious tone. Listen, I'm not here to fight. Let me go through the door and I'll overlook your transgression, said Khan in an authoritative tone. What? Exclaimed all the subordinates inside Khan's shadow as soon as they heard his words. The dragon himself had his maw wide open and eyes popping out of the sockets. Could not believe what Khan just said. You will let me go? Have you gone senile from the fear of dying at my hands, human? Asked the guardian dragon. To his query, Khan only replied in a soft tone. Well, you haven't anyone from my side yet, so there's no reason for me to kill you. That's why I'll show you mercy and let bygones be bygones, said Khan casually. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha, ha 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 ha, laughed the dragon loudly. His maniacal laugh sent shockwaves in the 2 kilometers radius just through its intensity. Aren't you too brazen, human? Your hubris and demeanor exceeds even us dragons. I would like to see if there's any weight to your words, spoke the dragon, and the very next moment, an insufferable amount of black and purple aura suddenly erupted from its body and spread over the 10 kilometers radius. Khan, who was already close to the dragon only 5 kilometers away, got engulfed in this aura instantly. Master, run. I'll create an opening for you, exclaimed Omega and tried to come out of Khan's shadow. All right, kids. Let Daddy show you how it's done, said Khan as his figure suddenly emerged out of the dark fog-like aura. Is that all? I thought you dragons were supposed to be somewhat strong. What? The guardian dragon had its eyes filled with disbelief. Khan wasn't even a saint yet, but he still remained completely unaffected by its heavy and crushing aura that even suppressed Omega and the others. You still have time. If you beg in front of me, I'll let you live. Khan's jarring voice resounded in the surroundings. Impudence! Die, you scum! Shouted the dragon as it could no longer tolerate Khan's disrespectful words. It quickly opened its mouth and a black aura suddenly amassed in its neck. Bang! A blistering and chaotic stream of fire filled with darkness element that spread across 5 kilometers in a single go and destroyed all the peaks and valleys covered under snow-targeted Khan, and in just a dozen seconds, Khan was completely engulfed by this horrifyingly destructive flame. Boom! Shatter! A massive crevice formed as the dragonfire destroyed everything in its wake, and finally, the gigantic dragon who burned Khan alive spoke in a jarring voice. Pesky little bug dared to talk down on me. I'd rather stay here alone for eternity than swallow an insult like that. To the dragon race, their pride as a superior species in the world was everything. So no way would the guardian dragon let Khan's remarks slide. But as the black smoke from the dragonfire waned, "Impossible!" shouted the dragon with a flabbergasted expression. Is that it? Man, you're the weakest monster I've ever seen. Even the Drake I met nearly 2 years ago was more powerful and threatening than you. A carefree voice resounded from the other end of this region. Khan in his black and gray long coat suddenly appeared out of the black fog, completely unscathed. How are you still alive? Even those monsters who fought with me would be gravely injured to the point of no recovery. Then how come you're not dead yet? Screamed the dragon in a bewildered voice. Who knows? Maybe because I'm too handsome, replied Khan with a charming smile and marched forth towards the dragon. As you can see, I'm not dead, spoke Khan as he opened his arms and walked towards the enemy like a certain king of Wakanda. So why don't you give it another try, you winged lizard? Challenged Khan openly. Winged lizard? Did you just call me a winged lizard? Preposterous. Unacceptable. Insolence! Yelled the guardian dragon, thoroughly enraged to its core, and without holding back, it charged at Khan and again attacked with dragonfire. This time, even fiercer. Bang! Boom! Ripples of black fire destroyed the terrain as the dragon reached 2 kilometers close to Khan and relentlessly attacked with the fire to burn him to cinders. Hundreds of crevices formed on the ground from the destructive force of its attacks. And yet, when the fire subsided and the residue of the battlefield became clear, it had its maw wide open again. TCH, I'm getting more disappointed. Are you really a dragon? I feel like you're scamming me. Shoo! Shoo! Go away. Bring the real dragon here, said Khan with a disappointed expression. You bastard! What the hell are you? How are you still alive? Exclaimed the guardian dragon as it could not comprehend how Khan still remained unaffected, while even the tall mountains in the surroundings were destroyed by the brute and destructive nature of his dragonfire. Why should I explain it to a weakling like you? Get out of my way, loser. I don't have time to waste on a fake dragon like you, replied Khan as he used Quicksilver and appeared even closer to the dragon. Move, or you will be moved, spoke Khan in a tyrannical voice as it threatened this ginormous dragon who could kill tens of thousands of enemies just with its dragonfire. Die, you freak! Shouted the dragon and attacked Khan with its massive claw. Bang! Another burst of dust erupted as it attacked Khan physically this time. But when Khan reappeared again, completely uninjured just like before, the dragon started having an existential crisis. You want to know who I am? Well, I have a few titles of my own. You can call me by one of them, elaborated Khan. What title is it? Asked the dragon, acting wary of Khan for the first time. To this question, Khan let out a wide grin and replied in a sinister tone. Monarch of Darkness. Before coming to the battlefield, when Khan and Ronin were trying to run away, he tried to ransack his brain in order to find a way to get out of this situation. His side was already the target of the guardian dragon, and creating distance in between them wouldn't have saved Khan either. It was no different than just delaying an inevitable death. But during those moments when Cyril mentioned that the dragon was a creature of the darkness element, Khan suddenly remembered an ability of his that was unlocked almost 2 years ago when he faced a Jack, the dark summoner inside the 11th floor of the Bromner dungeon. It was the very day he almost died and unlocked the Hero of Darkness title, which gave him 3 amazing and extraordinary abilities. System, give me the details on Monarch of Darkness ability, ordered Khan. Following are the exclusive powers granted by this ability. Monarch of Darkness, legendary rank, passive. The host now possesses the ultimate affinity va control over with anything that is made of dark magic va darkness elements in the world. The host will no longer be affected or can be killed from the dark magic or darkness element spells va skills. Whenever attacked with such skills and spells, the host's body will automatically absorb them or will remain harm-free regardless of the medium of attack. Note: the host's control over darkness element will increase with the amount of darkness aura and dark magic absorbed, reported the system. As soon as Khan heard and remembered what happened back then, he finally felt a sense of relief. Otherwise, there was no way around for him to come out of this situation alive. It was that moment Khan turned around and decided to face the dragon fearlessly. The guardian dragon was too stunned to speak at this moment. Monarch of Darkness? What kind of nonsense is this? This human is toying with me, thought the guardian dragon. Meanwhile, Khan, who was still unaffected by magical and physical skills and attacks by the dragon thanks to Monarch of Darkness ability, had a carefree expression. Nonsense. Human, you dare jest in front of me? You're wearing some kind of armor, aren't you? Asked the dragon in a vengeful voice. Oh, that. I am indeed a very ultimate and impenetrable kind of armor. Do you want to know what it's called? Said Khan. Ha! I knew it. What kind of armor is it that can even render my dragonfire useless? Asked the dragon with a voice full of curiosity. It's called, spoke Khan and took a pause before he revealed the name of the most badass and perfect armor in existence. The plot armor, revealed Khan and continued his jolly walk towards the door to the final layer. Plot what? You're trying to fool me again? Fine. I'll finish you once and for all, shouted the black and purple scaled dragon who was of the same size as Blackwell in his Titan form. Want to see more chapters? Please visit pandanovel.com. Again, it spewed all of its dragonfire on Khan and destroyed the battlefield as the close-range attack created a massive pit. No way would he survive now, spoke the dragon, but finally, he was left dumbfounded. Because inside that pit of fire and burned ground, Khan's figure appeared, but this time, he was dancing. Khan was doing the traditional Tobey Maguire dance from Spider-Man 3 as he royally trolled this tyrannical dragon that could easily kill 15 to 20 million enemies in an open battle. Even his body was unaffected from the impact or changes in the terrain of the battlefield. As the dragon was losing its mind, Khan jumped out of the deep pit and spoke in a mocking tone. "Oi, don't you have some self-respect? If it was me, I'd kill myself out of shame." He then quickly dashed towards the door and disappeared from the spot using Quicksilver. Just in 5 seconds, he appeared 1 kilometer away from the dragon after insulting it again. "This wretched insect!" shouted the dragon, and this time, it decided to use its trump card ability. It opened its mouth again, and using the black fire, it created the black hole exactly the same as the one that absorbed the combined attacks of the subordinates not so long ago. And he fell for it. The 300 meters wide massive black wormhole started sucking in the nearby rocks, boulders, and snow from the surroundings, and also, even Khan was forced to lose his footing because of the immense suction force. But as soon as Khan's figure in black and gray longcoat came 100 meters close to it, he made a grasping gesture and finally used the second ability that came with the Hero of Darkness title. Khan then used another ability that came with the Hero of Darkness title. Dark Engulfment. Dark Engulfment, legendary rank, passive. The host can absorb and store dark magic skills via spells from other beings, whether they're alive or dead. The capacity will rise with the rank upgrades in the host's body. The host can use all skills via spells made from dark magic via darkness elements after learning them. The host can also infuse them with other types of physical and magical skills via spells. The output of these skills via spells will be amplified by 3 times the original strength. The system notified Khan again at the moment of reckoning. This was the ability Khan never used before because he never faced a darkness element creature after the undead lich in the dungeon. So it had been sitting under the dust for quite some time. And after nearly 2 years, Khan was finally able to use this skill again. Like a miniature black hole of his own, Khan's palm started sucking in the wormhole created by the Guardian Dragon, which was actually its plunderer skill that absorbed and converted enemy attacks into pure energy. "No!" exclaimed the dragon as it completely lost control over his own skill. Khan's ability was on the same level as the dragon's, but his was something created by God of Darkness himself, so there's even a slight chance to lose against another ability of the same nature. "All right," said Khan as he released all of his aura and spoke in a grim voice that sent shivers under the dragon's spine. "I'm done playing this little game." Khan gave a deathly look towards the mighty and ginormous dragon, who was now stuck in a frozen state after Khan activated the Dark Engulfment ability that came with his Hero of Darkness title. Khan was using it for the first time against this darkness elemental creature and managed to pull an Uno reverse card on the dragon. "HRRRRMMMPH," struggled the dragon as it tried to break free from the hold of this terrifying ability that even rendered a mighty being, such as itself, could even easily fight and kill a 5th stage saint. "Master, I completed my task," spoke Ronan in Khan's mind through their telepathy link. "All right, wait there," replied Khan. "System, how much?" he asked. "Current darkness element absorption progress. 3%. Gosh, I'll be too late at this rate. Let's speed things up," spoke Khan, and soon a vast amount of black aura was sucked out of the dragon's body. Minutes passed, and the once almighty dragon couldn't even move or wail in agony as Khan was basically stealing every bit of darkness in its body. For a creature born with this element, it was no different than a slow and excruciating death. In just 2 hours, Khan was finally done absorbing all of the darkness from its body, and the gigantic dragon was now lying on the ground, barely able to breathe. It even lost its ability to use mana or world energy as the human in front of him sucked in all of its strength and energy in its body. Current darkness element absorption progress, 43%. The damage output and control over all the darkness and dark magic skills, spells, and abilities has been enhanced by twice. Reported the system. Who are you?" asked the Guardian Dragon. "Hero of Darkness," replied Khan as he could feel the dragon being completely incapable of moving. What? Didn't you die 300 years ago? You even killed one of the royal dragons back then. How are you still alive and became so weak?" asked the dragon. You know about my predecessor?" asked Khan in a bewildered tone. He didn't expect to meet someone who knew about the 8th hero of darkness. Predecessor. So you're the new one? Ha ha. Ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Laughed the dragon in a maniacal voice that sent tremors in the ground. You're so done, human. You don't have much time to live. Spoke the dragon in a joyous tone. Tell me, what do you know? And I'll let you live, proposed Khan. He desperately needed to know more about his predecessor and his deeds in the past. I'm already dying, you scum. A dragon getting defeated by a mere insect because he's the chosen hero of a god. I have suffered the biggest insult in my life yet. I'm not going to tell you even if you promise to free me. This is a shame I must carry to my grave. I hope my ancestors will at least not scorn me. But before I die, said the dragon, and suddenly, it opened its maw and charged at Khan. Warning! The dragon in front of the host no longer possesses darkness element. The host will die from its physical attacks. Warned the system. Before Khan even got the chance to react, an oppressive aura emitted from the guardian dragon instantly froze him on the spot as the mythical rank dragon tried to eat him alive. Master! Just as the wide maw that spanned a dozen meters in width was about to bite off Khan alive. Swoosh! A silver flash exited Khan's shadow and quickly passed through the dragon's mouth. Slash! Boom! Omega, donned in his moonlight armor form, had his white and blue blade of the katana in hand as he exited the other end of the dragon's neck. Cling! He shook off the black blood from the blade and slowly put the katana in the scabbard. He was already 4 times faster in his moonlight armor form, and just now, he used the quick-draw skill that allowed him to instantly slash apart an enemy in 2 kilometers radius. Thud! A shockwave and burst of wind shook the nearby 100 meters region as something big fell on the ground. Before the dragon's maw could engulf Khan, its giant head dropped on the ground as Omega cut it off from the inside with a single slashing attack. Armin and Cyril quickly appeared from his shadow and protected Khan with their barriers. The last-moment attack was enough to kill Khan if the system hadn't informed him, and Omega didn't act on his instinct and gave a finishing blow when the extremely weakened guardian dragon made its final move. Damn! Why the hell did he have to do that? I needed answers, damn it! Cursed Khan. The guardian dragon was clearly very old to have heard and know things about his predecessor. But before Khan could extract more information from him, the dragon suddenly made a kamikaze attack since it was already going to die. Even Khan couldn't have foreseen the abilities becoming useless as soon as the dragon lost all darkness in its body, and hence, leaving Omega no choice but to kill the dragon to protect his master. This was simply an unexpected situation. Ka kept cursing the dragon but managed to calm himself after some time. There was no use of crying over spilled milk. And finally, Khan had no choice but to carry on his usual routine of absorbing monsters and their abilities. Absorb! Spoke Khan after he came close to the ginormous dragon's reattached body. And after an entire day, Khan was finally done with the ability absorption process. But what happened next was something that would completely change Khan's life in the upcoming future. It opened many paths for Khan, and the abilities he gained were something that he felt even the other heroes wouldn't be able to get unless they had his divine abilities and killed this guardian dragon himself. The system then informed Khan that he had unlocked an unfathomable and bizarre ability that he desperately needed if he wanted to become stronger even among the other heroes. And finally, the system's robotic voice sent him the final message. The host can now absorb the dragon's body. After Khan was done with the ability absorption process, the system notified him about the newly gained abilities and skills from the guardian dragon. Congratulations to the host for acquiring the following abilities vs skills. Energy Plunderer, Legendary rank, active. Allows that host to create a black wormhole that can absorb mana, world energy, elemental attacks, spells, and various forms of energy sources. The wormhole will deconstruct and reconstruct these forms of sources to filter out the purest energy that can be received by the host in any desirable form. The host's body will be directly able to absorb this filtered and pure energy without causing any harm or aftereffects to the original body. Note: the host can also use the skill to absorb energy through inanimate objects or resources. Congratulations to the host. Energy Plunder ability merged under the Ability Absorption Divine ability. New function unlocked. Ability Absorption Divine ability can now allow the host to absorb mana cores and ores and even an entire body of a being. The host can directly absorb skills, abilities, mana, world energy, and bloodlines without touching the specimen's bodies from this point on. The black wormhole shall act as a medium for the divine ability to complete its function and transfer everything to the host's body. Dimensional Domain ability upgraded. The host can now store any object or even a body of a deceased being inside the domain without letting its physical state get affected for an indefinite time. The maximum storage size and range is 5 kilometers. Dragon's Sovereignty, Legendary Rank, active. Allows the host to use the Draconian Bloodline effect to oppress and brainwash monsters and creatures of lower rank and levels to serve the user. Note: this ability requires a lot of world energy. The host must become a saint rank being to use this ability. Congratulations to the host. Dragon's Sovereignty merged with War Dominance Blessing. The War Dominance has reached the 7th stage. The next effects of this upgrade shall be available to the host after becoming a 1st stage saint. Dragon Physique, Legendary Rank, active. Allows the host to temporarily enhance all of the physical stats by 3 times for 20 minutes. Note: this ability requires the host to become a saint first. Dragon Physique can be added to the Azura mode. Bloodline, Draconian Bloodline. Current bloodline purity, 35%. Note: a mythical rank Metamorphosis bloodline can be used to transform into a dragon after the host acquires the 100% Draconian bloodline. Reported the system. Khan was completely befuddled and gobsmacked after going through the report. Because these abilities, not a single one of them was useless and all of them were at legendary rank. They even helped elevate ability absorption, Azura mode, War Dominance, and Dimensional Domain to add extra functions and usability. Thanks to the Energy Plunder ability, Khan will no longer have to go around eating SS rank cores each day just to raise his levels one by one. Now he could just use all those high-grade resources at once and directly absorb them using the Energy Plunder skill that would help him absorb it all in its filtered purest form. To put the cherry on the top, it added function for Khan, and now he won't need to stand day and night like an idiot while touching the body of the monsters or other warriors to absorb their abilities. This was the most hectic part of the ability absorption procedure, and now it won't take him years to level up. All he needed were enough resources for mana and world energy, and he'd be able to break through ranks and stages much faster than others. Dimensional Domain used the wormhole skill and got upgraded into his 5 kilometers wide storage facility where Khan could even store the body of this gigantic dragon even without having to worry about it rotting. And the Dragon's Sovereignty was basically no different than Beast Taming skill, since he could brainwash and control low-ranked monsters. Wait a minute. Isn't this the skill this dragon used to control those legendary rank monsters from inside the Forbidden Zone? But how? Asked Khan to himself, although it made sense that the dragon could control the other regional bosses with this ability. But the distance was thousands of kilometers away for it to work. So Khan had a reason to be suspicious about the whole thing. And just when he was lost in thought, the host can now absorb the dragon's body. The system informed him out of the blue. What? Are you sure? What will happen if I absorb the body? Asked Khan. The ability Absorption Divine ability has received a new function. Now host can directly absorb any creature's physical body and get all of their skills and abilities. As for the dragon specimen, should the host decide to absorb it now, the body should help the host to gain enough mana and world to rank up to at least level 350 and a 3rd stage saint. However, it will take time and the host will need to gradually progress through levels and rank one at a time. The more portion of the body is absorbed with time, the quicker host will be able to level up. Elaborated the system. Holy hell! That's amazing! Exclaimed Khan in joy. But the host must find adequate resources of world energy to meet the requirements for the next level up in stages. The host can use the sources such as a Saint's Core or a legendary to mythical rank monster's core. In the host's case, the dragon's core is a sufficient source for the host to get enough energy to at least become a second-stage saint in the future. Reiterated the system to clear things out. Means I no longer need that first-stage saint's core now. All right then. Begin the process, ordered Khan. He pulled in the dragon's body in his newly upgraded dimensional domain. Although he couldn't use the domain to surround or oppress his enemies because the space here was sealed, he didn't face any problems when pulling the ginormous body of the guardian dragon into his new storage facility. Khan sat in a meditative pose for a couple of hours as the ability absorption did its work, and finally, Khan met the biggest mark that he needed to achieve. Congratulations to the host. The host is now a level 200 being. Reported the system in its robotic voice and said the magic words Khan desperately wanted to hear. The host has met the requirements to become a saint. As the system finally notified about the rise in levels and Khan finally meeting the condition to become a saint, a dam of happiness was broken inside his heart. After so many centuries of wait, I can finally become a saint, said Khan in an elated voice. The host can break through to the saint rank at his will. The host will need to be in a dormant state for a day, and the outbursts of mana and world energy will be noticeable within the 5 kilometers radius. It is advised that the host chooses a secure and quiet location to initiate the breakthrough. Informed the system. I guess we will have to delay it until I'm done making arrangements. I'll still die if I become a saint in the Forbidden Zone or the Verlassen fiefdom. I need to settle a lot of things first and then make my breakthrough, spoke Khan as he sighed. He had to contain his excitement for now and complete the mission at hand first. Hey freeloader, do you want the body? Asked Khan to Rudra. No, human. It is not compatible with my body or my current element. It will only cause an imbalance that will adversely affect me in the future. Kill a fire or magma elemental dragon for me, replied Rudra in a stoic voice. Do dragons grow on trees? Do you not understand that if not for me being the hero of darkness, all of us would have certainly died? Asked Khan as if he was looking at an idiot. TCH. Never mind. I'll let you have this one. Don't come begging when you need my help next time, retorted the basilisk. This punk, said Khan, and then continued his travel towards the main door with the rest. In 5 minutes, he came close to the main door, but unlike the last 2 times, there was an altar in front of the door. Impossible, spoke Khan as he saw what lay at the center of the altar. 6 10-meter-tall statues of beings Khan was familiar with, each of which was covered in archaic runes and formations. So that's how it was. It was controlling them from here, said Khan as he looked at the figures. These statues were the exact replicas of Invimarak, Jormungandr, Caladrius, Mountain Titan, Ashikvatika, and lastly, Vilgax. These statues and those runes. I'm certain of it, spoke Cyril. What? Asked Armin, who stood beside him. I read about it in one of the books Master got from that Solomon Elfenheim. This is puppeteer formation. A legendary rank 1. Revealed Cyril. Pup what? Asked Khan with a curious expression. I think that Emer sealed that dragon here and used this formation to have it use the dragon sovereignty skill you have on them through this formation. If my deduction isn't wrong, then the dragon was forced to use his powers and control all those legendary rank monsters we hunted outside the Forbidden Region. Clarified Cyril. Then doesn't that mean all of them were intentionally placed in those regions, and the annual monster wave that has been happening in the 150 years is something that was planned by that 8th stage saint? Queried Khan. I believe so, and the hero of lightning must have something to do with it as well. The more I see it, the more it feels like this entire barrier over Verlassen, these legendary rank monsters, and the 2 mythical rank enemies we faced recently, all of them are just means to protect something so that people would not come to find what's inside, even if it meant millions of people dying. Hypothesized Cyril. The Tablet of Arcana, exclaimed Khan. This was the only explanation he could find. The first layer was actually the entire Verlassen fiefdom. Second layer was protected by Vilgax. Third layer had Skoll and Hattie, who were defeated and sealed inside the Forbidden Region 200 years ago. And finally, the dragon that Khan killed just now was the last chess piece. Through this puppeteering formation, It was forced to use its ability and have the legendary rank monsters to cause annual monster tides in 6 hotspots so that people would not dare to venture close to the Forbidden Zone. Emer, the 8th stage saint, was certainly a magician given how he could use spells and formations to even seal and control mythical rank creatures. And he was so powerful that the 8,000 kilometers long barrier he created was able to prohibit a saint from entering this region. It was as if, other than himself, he did not want anyone else to get their hands on the Tablet of Arcana. This is becoming very complicated. Maybe the hero of lightning dying here also had something to do with the tablet, spoke Khan with a serious expression. The only way to find the truth, said Khan as they looked at the massive 200 meters tall and 50 meters wide construct in front of him, is through that door. Khan and the company finally came close to the door and close to the entrance. There were 2 figures. One was clad in pitch-black assassin's gear, while the latter was a chained man kneeling on the ground. There were multiple wounds over his body, and a broken nose became the highlight of his current state. Who are these people? And what were those monsters? How did you defeat the dragon? This shouldn't even be possible, exclaimed the man with glasses. You don't need to know. But don't worry, I won't kill you now. I might have some use for you, said Khan with a benign smile. The man in front of Khan was none other than his supposed ally from the Pureblood faction, who betrayed him at the last moment to lure out the dragon and get inside the door by himself. What use? Asked Ezekiel, the traitor semi-saint mage who was caught and beaten to death by Ronin under Khan's orders before he started his fight with the dragon. What if there's another monster? If that were to be the case, then I might need someone to, said Khan with an evil grin and revealed his reason. Make a sacrifice. Ezekiel had an ashen expression as he had a sense of déjà vu after he was caught by Ronin and heard Khan's intention, whom he betrayed for the sake of accomplishing his goal. Doesn't feel good, does it? Khan said, and their crew tried to enter the door with Ezekiel in chains. Tuck, tuck, tuck. But before he could pass through, their bodies collided against the door with a black aura coming out of it. What the hell? Why can't I pass through? Questioned Khan. Cyril and Ronin tried to inspect it, but even after 20 minutes, there was no clue or a loophole. The door simply prohibited them from entering. Omega, spoke Khan and ordered the dual-sword samurai to forcefully open the door for them. The group then stood 3 kilometers away while Omega turned into his twilight armor form, which was his pure destruction mode. Bang! Boom! Even the altar that previously had the statues of the legendary creatures was destroyed by Omega's Black Fang strike attack, but the door didn't budge in the slightest. And when Omega tried to use the moonlight armor form and make a quick slashing attack with Lunar Fang strike, an invisible force was repelled back from the door instead. After that, Ronin tried to phase through, but he failed, and Cyril tried to use magic formations, but none of them worked. What the hell is this supposed to mean? We killed the Guardian, and we should be able to enter now, exclaimed Khan in an irritated tone as he placed both hands on his waist. The treasure was simply 1 door away, but the door was acting like an impenetrable fortress. Master, someone is coming, said Omega. All right, all of you hide. Cyril, cast an invisibility barrier, and keep this bastard gagged, spoke Khan. And finally, after a while, came a young woman with white hair, 2 red horns coming out of the sides of her head, one of which was short while the other was longer. She was donned in black and red armor, and on her waist were 2 blood-red colored twin swords. She looked at Khan, who had Lucifer in his hand, and looking at the destroyed surroundings as well as the deep crevices in the ground, she had a fearful expression on her face. If this was what Khan could do while still being a semi-saint, then she was no match. You're here. Looks like I was early, spoke Khan. How come you're here? What about Ezekiel Nabi? Did you meet him? Asked the young woman. No. He probably still hasn't found a way to this barrier. But for some reason, I can't enter it, replied Khan as he looked at the half-breed demonkin sword maiden. Celine Armitage, the clan heiress of the Armitage clan and also the second most talented sword user of the young generation after Khan. In this mission, she was his supposed ally from the neutral faction. Both of them stood silently in front of the massive door as Khan ran out of ideas to open the door with all his available means. "Let me try," spoke Celine. The next moment, she placed her hand on the dense layer of the black aura. Dudum, dudum. Suddenly, the door started pulsating like a vein of a massive creature, and soon, the black aura that completely covered the door started waning. The next moment, Celine took out a small dagger from her space ring and made a gash on her right palm. "I hope it works just like Father said," she spoke, and without explaining her actions, she placed it on the center of the door. The blood drops were suddenly absorbed by the door and dozens of red patterns slithered like snakes. Shwua! A loud noise of something cranking from the inside resounded in the surroundings, and finally, the entire door opened a pathway for Celine. What the hell? Why did it open for her? Thought Khan, and then quickly understood the reason. "Damn, I should have figured," he said, and thought about how Celine activated the door. Her blood was the main triggering factor. After all, she's the only living descendant, he thought, and looked at Celine again, of the imperial family. On the day before the finale of the Emperor's Chosen competition, when Khan was summoned by Alistair Moore Vandereyck to the main headquarters of the Pureblood faction, he made his secret deal with the faction leader and signed a contract to complete the mission they were going to give him in exchange for his own conditions he set back then. But on this very day, he also learned a fact about the other possible contenders who were going to enter the Forbidden Zone. And one of them included the dual sword saintess, aka Celine Armitage. From the faction leader himself, he found that Celine had a special trait and history behind her lineage. Her human grandmother was actually one of the concubines of the lecherous and cruel Seventh and the previous emperor, who was said to be a very vigorous man. After the Great War, the imperial family was massacred and everyone having any blood ties with them were wiped out. However, her grandmother gave birth to Celine's mother in secret, and no one knew about this relation till her mother was of 30 years of age. But one day, one of the royal attendees who belonged to the Armitage clan after the coup recognized her, and with some digging, he found out about Celine's mother being the rightful heir to the throne. But instead of claiming the throne and causing a civil war in the process, the Armitage clan forcefully wed her human mother to their clan's heir, who was now Celine's father. Only recently did the other two factions had found that she had the bloodline of the imperial family. But the Armitage clan and neutral faction of now were untouchable. And given her importance, she was always protected by top saints of her clan and faction. Thus, Celine was chosen to be one of their representatives to bring the Tablet of Arcana after she became a semi-saint just this year. They also assumed that Khan was also a descendant himself, and that's why both the factions were after him, desperately wanting to recruit him to get a perfect winning chance if they had both of them on their side. And now that she opened the door, Khan was certain that the entire Forbidden region had a direct connection to the imperial family, as they only allowed their descendants to enter the last barrier. Khan then looked at Celine while the subordinates, hidden in an invisibility barrier, stood behind them. He spoke in a calm and collected manner while thinking about the dangers they might have to face inside. "All right then, let's go." Khan and Celine passed through the final door that emitted blinding white light when it opened after Celine used her blood. The last key was the imperial bloodline, and if not for her being present here, Khan would have never been able to overcome this final hurdle. Behind them, all his subordinates and the hostage, aka Ezekiel, followed without making a sound. Finally, Khan and Celine passed through the white fog-like light and saw the new surroundings that they both knew was coming based on the experience from the previous two doors. But after they saw the scenery, both of them were left speechless on the spot. A vast and flourishing land with luscious greenery, and in the middle of it was a ginormous castle that was the biggest construction Khan had seen in his new life yet. This ginormous castle, located at the hillside region, covered in white clouds, seemed so pristine and heavenly that even Khan was rooted on the spot as he admired a marvel of architecture. At the front, before even the castle's perimeter began, was a gigantic statue of an angel that almost seemed like a living person. So this is it. The imperial family was behind the Forbidden region all along, spoke Khan as his assumption was finally solidified after he looked at the imperial family's crest in the front of the castle. After traveling for nearly an hour, They finally reached the gate, and again, Celine used her blood to open it while Khan did the heavy lifting of pushing the massive metallic gate. This place was only meant for saints of the imperial family to enter as far as he could tell. After both of them ventured inside the now dilapidated yet still very majestic castle, they saw the massive statues and halls that were made of pure gold and rubies. There were so many jewels spread across the hall that Khan couldn't even fathom the total wealth. I hope Smog isn't the dragon guarding this place, thought Khan, and traveled along with Celine. However, both of them had a job to do, so they carried on with their journey. "All right, grab it all," said Khan, and Blackwell, Jugram, and Oliver appeared out of his shadow and quietly hid themselves in these small peaks of unbelievable richness. Afterward, they took out hundreds of high-grade space rings and started pulling in all of the goods as soon as Khan and Celine went to the deeper halls. Both of them spent hours going through different halls, rooms, and even basements that were filled with ancient artifacts, gold coins, rubies, diamonds, and even crests full of epic rank armors and weapons. Yet there seemed to be no end to this palace that was filled with things left by the imperial family. And when they finally walked down to the bottom floors of the castle, they finally found an underground terrain that looked like ancient ruins. "It's too big. We need to separate from here on, otherwise we won't be able to find the tablet in due time," said Khan as he looked at Celine. Celine nodded, and just as Khan turned around to leave, stab! A blood-red blade stabbed right through his heart, and the one to do it was none other than Celine. Blurk! Khan coughed up blood as his body dropped on the ground. "Why?" he asked with a horrified expression. "Sorry, Mr. Salvatore. You were never supposed to see this place. It was one thing if you managed to assist me in beating some strong opponent. But now I think that you've outlived your usefulness. It's time for you to close your eyes," spoke Celine with a lifeless expression. After a minute, Khan's struggling figure stopped moving and he closed his eyes for the last time. And once again, Khan was betrayed by those who were supposed to be his allies. 20 days ago, in the main meeting hall of the Armitage clan headquarters in the capital Rathna, Celine stood in front of her father, a pure demonkin and 6th stage Saint Archer. "Celine, you know what you have to do, right?" asked her father, Walter Armitage. "Yes, Lord Father. I shall be the one to get the tablet no matter what," she replied. "Now that Cassandra Michelson is out and Victor Apopes is on the run, it leaves only Nabi and Salvatore. Ezekiel Nabi is just another sheltered brat despite his talent in magic. But Con Salvatore poses a big threat to all of us. And since it was Cassandra who seduced Con Salvatore and brought him to their side, we really can't afford for him to be the one to retrieve it. And if the rumors are right, then he too is a descendant of the imperial bloodline." He spoke with a somber expression. "If the tablet is retrieved by him, Damon Michelson will be the one to become the next faction leader. And Salvatore will be wed into their clan. He will be protected by them, and with the bloodline of the first sage in the play, Khan will have the claim to the throne of the Rocco's empire. The Michelson clan will push the entire neutral faction for it, and there will be a war just like 100 years ago. This time, even we won't have any merit despite your bloodline. So of all people, Con Salvatore must be killed when you're in the Forbidden Region," said Walter Armitage in an authoritative tone. "I understand, Lord Father," spoke Celine and bowed respectfully. Since the Emperor's chosen competition, Celine was overshadowed by both Con and Cassandra. One was the strongest semi-saint of the youngest generation, while the other one was the strongest mage of them all among their peers. While their name spread across the masses and they gained more fame and acknowledgement from the whole empire, Celine's name faded from the topic of discussion, and once the most talented swordsmaiden who had been the center of attention from the entire capital, her clan and the three factions was now tuned into a nobody. Celine now stood in front of Khan's lifeless body, which was bleeding profusely from the heart after she sneak-attacked Khan when he turned his back on her to search for the tablet on his own. As for the reason why she killed Khan, it was because of her own jealousy towards him. In the past decade, she was always compared with Cassandra Michelson no matter what she did. Celine also felt inferior because despite being a worthy fighter herself, Sometimes people said that compared to Cassandra, neither was she strong nor was beautiful enough. In the past 8 months, her name had been completely forgotten by the people of the Rocco's Empire, and nobody even cared if she was nicknamed as the Dual Sword Saintess among the young generation. And after Cassandra's heroic deeds in the Cauldrus region of the Verlassen fiefdom, when she faced a legendary rank monster on her own, and Khan glorifying her bravery throughout the Empire, those two became a thorn in her eyes. With each passing day, Khan had risen to popularity, public support, and authority, while Selene was being looked down on by her own clansmen because she didn't even make it to the finale. And after she was oppressed by Khan in the Aesir, whether it was his throne hall or when she was forced to work under the semi-saint commander Nadia Senmako, she had become basically someone without any authority and prestige, as if she wasn't a semi-saint prodigy but a roadside beggar. This ended up in Selene developing an inferiority complex, and hence, she hates Khan to her core. But with her father's permission to act on her will in the Forbidden Region, she had a perfect chance to let out her anger while acting as an ally with Khan. And now, the Raven Sorceress, who was her biggest competitor, lost her ability to use magic while the strongest semi-saint of the Empire lay in front of her, completely dead. Sorry, Salvatore. My clan's fate depends on it. If you deliver the tablet, it will be the Michelson clan who will benefit the most. You will become their son-in-law and enter the clan, and once Damon Michelson becomes the faction leader, my clan will be on the losing end. The damage you could do to my clan and me, I hope you understand. Besides, you should have known your place since the beginning. If not for your arrogance, you wouldn't be here and I wouldn't have had to kill you, spoke Selene with a condescending look. Selene gave a last look at Khan's horrified face and then departed for the ruins that seemed to be the final path. Right at this moment, a man in a black and gray long coat along with a silver-haired man with 4 katanas on his waist were in front of a maze. Man, I understand their circumstances, but it hurts to be backstabbed all the time, spoke the real Khan. How's the situation there? Did you record it all? He asked through the telepathy link. Yes, master. We finished the task perfectly. She didn't suspect anything, replied Ronan. An invisible barrier was deactivated as 3 figures appeared at the site of the crime. Ronan, Cyril, and the dead Khan on the ground, whose appearance suddenly started to change. And the man who had his heart stabbed by Selene and died a horrible death was Ezekiel Nabi. After learning from his experience with the semi-saint mage, Khan already expected Selene to betray him for the Tablet of Arcana as well. But given her usefulness because of her imperial bloodline, which opened all the doors for them till this point, Khan had been acting all trustworthy and clueless. After they finally found the ruins at the bottom of the castle, he knew that it won't be long before the dual sword saintess turned on him as well. But rather than acting on an impulse, he decided to use her instead. When they entered the ruins, Khan created a doppelganger while he left with Omega using Shadow Walk skill. And right when he suggested to part their ways, the doppelganger Khan, who was just real Khan in an extra body, quickly used the lucid reality skill he got from Jormungandr on Selene without her noticing. This ability was something that messed with all senses of the enemy during a battle and temporarily put you under an illusion for 1 minute. And during that 1 minute, Cyril put Ezekiel, who was chained and gagged, in Khan's position. The doppelganger Khan then disappeared, and just as they expected, Selene chose to betray him at that moment when he looked without any guard. The one she thought to be Khan was actually the semi-saint mage and the clan heir of the Nabi clan, while the real Khan had already traveled 20 kilometers deep in these ancient ruins thanks to Omega's gravity law skills that stopped all the traps and spells from attacking them, as the duo was simply levitating in the air. On the other side, Khan had ordered Ronan to record this whole scene of her killing Ezekiel. This was to create evidence of her killing Ezekiel, which Khan could use later to either blackmail her or have the Nabi clan and the Pureblood faction hunt her down in case she got the tablet. He had no intention to be understanding of her situation and simply didn't care if she lived or died. To him, other than Cassandra, all the top prodigies of the Rocco's Empire only seemed like power-hungry brats who betrayed and killed in the name of ambition and helping their clan. As for the traitor snake named Ezekiel, who sacrificed Khan to lure the guardian dragon and almost got him killed, karma was a bitch. Keep the body. We will have some use for it. Ordered Khan to store Ezekiel's body because at the end of the day, he was a semi-saint and Khan could get a useful and strong subordinate if he was in need. Using the Earth Sense skill that was his 10-kilometer wide radar system which allowed Khan to inspect and map out the ground and all living beings on it, he directly found a pathway to the end of this maze ruins without falling for any booby traps. And Omega got rid of anything that stopped their advance. After half an hour, both of them reached a white door. Omega simply slashed it apart and finally, both of them reached a dilapidated hall that had broken and worn down magic formations, and a massive golden tablet was placed in the center of it. Omega destroyed these worn-down magic barriers, but before they even reached the halfway, finally, one of my kin is here. An ancient and tyrannical voice resounded in this massive hall. Wait, you're not my kin. You! The voice continued in a furious and ghastly tone. You're a chosen hero. A chill ran under Khan and Omega's spine as they heard this ancient grim voice that instantly put them on a high alert. Omega quickly activated gravity domain to get an upper hand in case a surprise attack came their way. Khan on the other end had survival instinct on high alert and was ready to activate Somir scales, Dracos armor and even Azura mode if they were to be attacked. Who is it? Asked Khan as he had Lucifer equipped in hand and tried to use Earth Sense to notice this entity whose voice they heard just now. Why is a chosen hero here? Emer said he took the necessary measures. And why hasn't anyone visited this place from over a century? What about the Imperial family? Asked this majestic voice which even made Omega feel a threat to his life. Hate to break it to you, but there is no Imperial family anymore. They were massacred in a coup 100 years ago. Everyone, including the previous emperor, Naradager, has been killed. Revealed Khan. Make sure she doesn't find a way to come here. He commanded Ronan Vasseril, who were 30 kilometers away, and tailed Celine. What? How dare you speak such nonsense, boy? How can the Imperial family be massacred? What were the founding clans doing? What was the Michelson clan doing? Shouted the entity and asked in a furious tone. Well, most of the founding clans, as well as the Michelson clan, were the ones who led the coup. The 3 7th-stage saints joined hands and killed the 8th-stage emperor, Naradager. The Rocco's empire of now is run and controlled by the factions that formed after the founding clans separated themselves. There are currently 3 factions: Pure Blood, Demi-Human, and the Neutral faction. Each of those saints who killed the emperor is currently their leader. Revealed Khan without hesitation. Because if he wanted to leave out of here alive, he at least needed to show that he was on the side of the Imperial family. Then how come you are here? This is a place that can be accessed only by the Imperial bloodline. Spoke the ancient voice. Tell me, the new hero of darkness, how did you manage to come here? And why are you here in the first place? Asked this being in its tyrannical voice. You know who I am? Asked Khan with an alarmed expression. His identity was already known to this ancient persona he couldn't even see. Of course, I knew a lot about the cruel and overly prideful imbeciles called the Chosen Heroes. Otherworlders who were brought into our world for that so-called mission of killing the demon god. Those pretentious and entitled scums. I fought and killed many of them in my time. Revealed the grim and deep voice with a domineering tone. The hell? Who am I talking to? He isn't Emer for certain, and neither is he Naradager. But he found out about me and knows about the Chosen Heroes very well. If I don't play my cards right, I might as well get killed here. Thought Khan with an aghast expression. How did you know I was the hero of darkness so quickly? Asked Khan with an alerted face. Because there was a time when I fought the 6th heroine of darkness, Ponia Welschheimer. And we once fought together against a common enemy as well. She was a very remarkable and admirable woman compared to all the heroes I came to know. You give off an exactly similar aura of darkness just like her. But you're hundreds of times weaker than her. Tell me, which number are you? Said the ancient voice. I'm the 9th, replied Khan with a cautious tone. Tell me something. What is this place? And why are there so many barriers and monsters guarding it? Do you have any idea how many millions of people have died in the past 100 years alone? asked Khan as he was finally seeing a way to get the answers he wanted for a long time. Well, since you've managed to reach her despite all these adversities, it doesn't hurt me to tell you the truth. This region is where the imperial family trained, raised their levels and ranks after gaining the right. This place has always been unknown to all the other clans and factions of the Rakos Empire. But 200 years ago, the hero of lightning from a nearby empire found this place. At that time, the 6th Emperor, who was an 8th stage Saint Magician, fought with that invader. Revealed the voice that echoed in this 300 meters wide hall. But, unfortunately, Emer was mortally wounded in order to kill that bastard. The injury was so grave that he had only a few weeks to live. This whole region, which is around 3,000 kilometers, was actually their battlefield. It completely changed the terrain and created different environments because of their clash and powers. And to protect the fate of the imperial family, he made arrangements and used the Hero of Lightning's core as a source to create a barrier that would bar any saint who does not belong to our family from entering inside the Verlassen mountain range, since a soul of a chosen hero is many times stronger than ours. He placed various legendary rank creatures as guardians in the outer layer to stop armies of semi-saints and forces from other empires to come for the Tablet of Arcana. And finally, he sacrificed himself to provide a source for all the barriers in the inner region to keep it running, so that no one other than the members of our imperial family, who reached at least a 5th stage saint, would be able to enter this place. Revealed the ancient entity. What the hell? He killed a chosen hero on his own, someone with divine abilities, and used his core to create the barrier over Verlassen fiefdom? Exclaimed Khan. The barrier over Verlassen, the 6 hotspots of monster tides, and the mythical rank guardians. All of that to protect the Tablet of Arcana. Spoke Khan with a baffled tone. And top of it, this ancient entity knew about one of his predecessors as well as killed other heroes on his own. "Oh, great elder, may I ask who exactly you are?" he asked. "Me? I'm not someone worth mentioning. Well, I'm sure no one even knows my name since my kin have been eradicated," responded the entity. "Please tell me. It is only right for me to address you properly," said Khan as he tried to goad the archaic persona into revealing his identity. "Well, I had many names and outrageous titles. This weak and humble old me is called," replied the ancient entity as he finally revealed his identity. "Rathnar Whitlock, the 1st Emperor." Khan and Omega were left speechless as they heard the name of this ancient entity, the one who they were conversing with till this point. The 1st Emperor. "Rathnar the Conqueror?" asked Khan with a flabbergasted expression. "Master, isn't he?" asked Omega. "Not now. Let's hear what he has to say first," replied Khan. Khan looked around the ceiling of this underground hall and ruined architecture. He bowed on the left while Omega bowed on the right. "Our greeting, great Emperor," he said. "I'm right in front of you, you idiots," spoke Rathnar. "The hell? Why can't I see him then?" thought Khan. "But you're supposed to be dead, and that too more than 800 years ago. How can you be still alive?" asked Khan in a befuddled voice. "I said I'm right in front of you," exclaimed Rathnar again. "Don't tell me you're," replied Khan as he looked at what was in front of him. "Yes, I'm inside the Tablet of Arcana," said the 1st Emperor. Don't tell. How come you're not dead yet?" queried Khan again. "My body has perished, but I have left half of my soul bound to the tablet, and it's powerful enough to sustain my remaining soul essence," replied Rathnar in a thoughtful voice. "What is this Tablet of Arcana? If I'm not wrong, and 3 factions, they wanted it for themselves and caused the Great War under the pretense of a coup against the imperial family for it," said Khan. "So you mean to say that the founding clans turned their back on my descendants for the tablet?" asked Rathnar in a grim voice. "Well, that wasn't the first time this empire had a coup. Many times because there was a slavery system, shunning of particular races and species, war between clans and powerful figures, and from the historical records I read once, the Whitlock family did a real shitty job in managing the empire. And the previous emperor was the worst of them all. He oppressed and massacred too many people who stood before him. He even wiped out some of the loyal founding clans because he was afraid of their authority. The records call him the worst emperor of the Rakos Empire. Although I don't know how much of it is true, it is what it is. Revealed Khan based on the knowledge he had about the history. This cannot be. No one told me anything about it. Spoke Rathnar as his voice sounded that of a dejected man. Of course they didn't, said Khan as if it was obvious. I created this empire to provide a safe haven for different species and races around the world. Back then, those gods, their churches, their monasteries, and those anomalies called the chosen heroes caused a lot of bloodbaths, massacred and launched a crusade against different species and races. Some tried to eradicate humans while some deemed demi-humans as a race to be annihilated. Those bastards had killed billions of people throughout the world in the name of their god's decree and divine judgment. Anyone who looked different or belonged to a certain race. Anyone who didn't follow the doctrine of their god or questioned the authority of their representatives. All of them were purged. Many species and races went extinct during those times. Revealed the first emperor with a crestfallen voice. That was when I and many who believed that the bloodbath in the name of religion was simply too cruel, decided to work together and create a place where all the races and species could live in harmony. It took me 200 years just to establish the Rakos Empire. But I guess all was for naught. And based on what you said, the empire is still divided into 3 factions. Looks like, in the end, I failed very miserably. Spoke Rathnar. His defeated tone gave Khan a sense of understanding of the man. I guess you're also to blame. You created a system where only the strongest of your bloodline became the emperor or an empress. The truly capable were disqualified because they were weaker, and thus it ended up dividing the imperial family and founding clans. The Great War was just an end to a 1,000-year-long battle for power. It only delayed what should have happened centuries ago. Responded Khan with his honest opinion. Rathnar then kept quiet for a while and spoke again with an authoritative tone. You still haven't answered my question, though. Even if you were a chosen hero, you could not have come here since you do not have the imperial bloodline. Why and how are you here? Are you also here for the Tablet of Arcana just like that hero of lightning from 2 centuries ago? Asked Rathnar in a ghastly tone that sent shivers to both Khan and Omega's bodies. If that's the reason, then you might as well return, boy. No one other than the imperial bloodline can access the tablet and what lies inside. You cannot even touch it unless I grant you the permission myself. So get out of here while I'm being considerate. Spoke Rathnar in a domineering voice. Master, I don't think that even I can do anything against that tablet. The aura it's giving off, it's too strong. Said Omega. Let me handle this. Replied Khan. You're right. I came here for the tablet and I was able to enter here without even having the imperial bloodline. Not because I found a way to get inside, but I was allowed to. Outright lied Khan. Impossible. The barriers will not let you pass unless it is someone from my kin. Tell me the truth. Rathnar's angered voice shook the surroundings. Well, I don't know anything about the bloodline, but I think the barrier recognized me as one of your own. Replied Khan. What nonsense! Why would the barrier recognize you as one of my descendants? Asked Rathnar in a curious voice. Maybe because of this, said Khan, and soon he took out something that covered the entire hall in a blinding white light. A big sphere that was the size of a full-grown elephant suddenly appeared in between them. I bet you recognize this, spoke Khan with a benign smile. You! This can't be. You're not only the hero of darkness but also, spoke Rathnar in a trembling and bewildered voice. My successor! The first emperor's surprised voice resounded in the wide hall as soon as Khan revealed Rathnar, the Peak Saint's core. How did you manage to get it? I told Lesrin to hide it away after my death, even from my children, exclaimed Rathnar as a wave of heavy pressure landed on Khan and Omega's bodies. I acquired it by luck, and I guess you can sense that the core is now tied to my soul. So basically I'm its master, spoke Khan as he looked towards the tablet. Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Rathnar Whitlock, the the one who hated the gods and killed many of their heroes with his own hands, has a god's chosen hero as my successor. How ironic, said Rathnar as he laughed hysterically. That explains a lot. It is natural that the barrier recognized you as one of my kin if that were to be the case. What is your name, my successor? Asked Rathnar. Con Salvator, he replied casually. Not a bad name, so tell me, what are you doing in my Rocco's empire? Shouldn't you be summoned in the Abyss Empire instead of being here? He asked. Abyss Empire? What's that? The only thing I know is Abyss Forest that's said to have god beasts living in it. He replied with a stupefied expression. Huh? What do you mean? Asked Rathnar curiously. Well, a situation happened quite some time ago, spoke Con. Since Rathnar already knew more about the heroes than Con, he decided to tell the Spectre about his situation because of the deeds done by his predecessor. Ha 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 ha. Ah. I'm going to die again just from laughing. I wish I could have met your predecessor before he died. He and I would have become good friends, said Rathnar as he laughed out loudly. A hero without an empire's support. No wonder you're the weakest one I've ever seen. In 2 years' time, any chosen hero would at least be a third-stage saint with the resources given by their respective empire. Tell me, what do you know about the other heroes? Said Rathnar. He kept laughing again and again. Absolutely nothing, said Con in an embarrassed tone. You're so screwed, my successor. And what about your divine weapon? You at least have that, don't you? Asked Rathnar. What divine weapon? Exclaimed Con as he found a piece of new information out of the blue. Ah! You're definitely the unluckiest hero ever summoned. Ha 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 ha. Rathnar rofled. Tell me, what the hell is a divine weapon? Even God of Darkness didn't tell me anything about it, exclaimed Con. He felt like he was on the very end of the cliff. How are you going to kill the demon god if you don't even have your divine weapon? Forget him. How will you even face the other heroes if they try to kill you without your divine weapon? How come I know more about your role than yourself? Questioned Rathnar multiple times. Just tell me what you know, spoke Con in an exasperated tone. He was finally getting some information, but Rathnar kept leaving him on a cliffhanger like a certain someone who did it at the end of every chapter. A divine weapon is a chosen hero's signature weapon. Without it, they can never fight at their full capacity or use their souls to power up their attacks and skills. Usually, they are guarded and handed down to each generation of the summoned heroes by the empire that serves their respective god. But in your situation, there is no one left to serve the god of darkness anymore. The only way I can think of to find your divine weapon, revealed Rathnar and continued in a serious tone, is to find the remains of the 8th hero of darkness, declared Rathnar. Con was too stunned to speak after Rathnar revealed so many facts about how the summoned heroes had their divine weapons, while Con barely had Lucifer, which was only made from a drake's fangs. Will my sword do? Asked Con as he showed the black greatsword with crimson vein patterns on the blade. It has potential, but it will never be enough. You need at least a royal dragon's fangs and bones to forge a weapon that can withstand against a divine weapon. And that's possible if you're evenly matched against a chosen hero in terms of ranks. I had one as well. I killed 9 ignorant heroes myself when they tried to attack my empire. But it was destroyed automatically after I died, since a soul-marked weapon destroys itself after its master dies. Revealed Rathnar casually. You killed 9 heroes yourself? Asked Con as he stuttered because of the shocking information he just heard. Nothing noteworthy. Those losers relied too much on their divine abilities and weapons. Most of them lacked real battle experience and mastery over their skills. I even killed 2 at once who were a rank above me. Those idiots never understood that just rising in ranks is never enough. Maybe that's why none of them ever managed to kill the demon god. As far as I remember, he wasn't even a demigod back then. Spoke Rathnar as if he was casually having a chat over a cup of tea. This guy is a serial flexer, said Con to himself. Rathnar was talking about killing a royal dragon, 9 chosen heroes, including even those who were higher ranked than him in a laid-back manner, as if it was as easy as breathing for him. How badass was this guy when he was alive? Wait, my predecessor killed all the other 12 heroes and a royal dragon as well. How badass was he? And Rathnar is talking about Demon God as if that guy was his junior in high school. Why am I so behind on everything? Khan gasped as one by one, too many mind-boggling revelations were made to him. But before he could ask another question, Rathnar asked in a serious voice, "Tell me, Consalvator, what do you want to achieve? Sacrifice your life while trying to kill the demon god? On someone's war that you have no reason to fight? Or become the master of?" The deep and ancient voice resounded in the dilapidated hall as the first emperor presented Khan with a preposition. Tablet of Arcana. Khan was too stunned to speak after Rathnar. The first and founding emperor of the Rakos Empire suddenly offered him to become the owner of the Tablet of Arcana. His mission so far was only to retrieve this tablet that was so precious to all the three noble factions that they went as far as to start a coup against the imperial family under the disguise of usurping the cruel and tyrant emperor. Even the previous hero of lightning died trying to get it, while the sixth emperor sacrificed his life to create this barrier and place so many monsters in the Verlassen mountain range to protect it. But now, Rathnar was offering him to become its owner out of nowhere. This went against his deal and many of his plans. Why? Me being your successor is a different thing, and the Tablet of Arcana is another matter. So why are you offering it to me? Asked Khan with a suspicious gaze. I guide others to a treasure I cannot possess, replied Rathnar as his somber voice resounded in the hall. I'm not giving it to you for free. In return, I want to make a deal with you, he said. What kind of deal? Asked Khan. Now that I no longer have any descendants left and you're my successor at the same time, I have no choice but to rely on your help. He spoke in a serious tone. Just tell me what the hell is this tablet first. I'll listen to your preposition after that, said Khan. To his unruly words, Rathnar replied in a calm tone. Tablet of Arcana is actually a key, or more likely a door to the Chamber of Exaltation. What is that? Chamber of Exaltation is a pocket dimension where I and all the other emperors and empresses of Rakos Empire raised their levels and ranks after crossing the 5th stage. You see, most of the species in the world, regardless of their talent and resources, cannot exceed past 9th stage saint rank or a god-beast rank in some cases. There are too many reasons, such as one's species, quality of bloodline, and even method of cultivating their bodies to be capable of reaching that rank. And that is why there hasn't been a single being other than myself who reached peak saint rank in the past 5,000 years. And also, it contains another secret to it, revealed Rathnar. What secret? Asked Khan as a visible curiosity appeared on his face. The secret to becoming a demigod, revealed the former peak saint rank emperor. What? Really? Asked Khan with a dumbfounded expression. Don't get worked up, kid. I've hidden the secret with the other half of my soul and sealed it in a place no one other than myself or my successor can reach, revealed Rathnar. You see, many cannot succeed in becoming a demigod because they are limited by the restrictions of species and bloodlines. As for us humans, we are one of the weakest species but also with the highest versatility in Vantria. No matter how stronger you get, there are limits you can't cross, he spoke. And the Tablet of Arcana is something that was left behind a demigod from ancient times which I found in a ruin 1,200 years ago. Chamber of Exaltation is a separate dimension that was created by that very being. It's a secret that cannot be shared with the world. The reason I told Lezerin to hide my core and choose a successor was because my children back then were more worried about my throne instead of trying to strengthen our empire. The politics was simply too bloody back then, and as my final days came close, even with the Tablet of Arcana, I found that I couldn't become a demigod because of one of the required conditions. So I had no choice but to have my core hidden in a remote place and split my soul into 2 parts. And the Chamber of Exaltation only became a training ground for my descendants. And only when one of them became a worthy candidate, I would tell them the location of my other part. Besides, Anyone who can't even become a ninth stage saint doesn't even qualify to know the secret. Revealed Rathnar in one go. You even hid it from your kin? Why is that? Asked Khan as this fact bugged him the most. You do not understand the gravity of the situation, Khan Salvatore. Anyone who got their hands on it would simply spell the doom of the empire and attract too much attention from the other empires around the world. They'd go as far as wiping out the entire Rocco's empire to get the tablet, and my core is the best source for even a chosen hero to become a demigod. But why are you offering it to me then? Just because I found your core? Asked Khan. Yes, you're a chosen hero with divine abilities. And with my core and the knowledge of how to use the Chamber of Exaltation, you can become not only the strongest among other heroes, but also a demigod when you meet the requirements and retrieve the other half of my soul. He revealed his reasons. And I guess you want something in return? Asked Khan. Correct. I will impart my knowledge and help you meet one of the conditions as your mentor. You can know about the other two conditions when you become a ninth stage saint and retrieve my soul. But in return, I want you to make a soul pact with me. Replied Rathnar. Why do you want me to do that? Asked Khan again. It should be obvious to you already. I have lived and bled for this empire in my entire lifetime. I founded and protected it till the end of my days. And now that you're the only one whom I can rely on and has the potential to even surpass me, you're the only person in the whole world I can ask to complete this mission. Spoke Khan. Khan rolled his eyes in annoyance. Great, another mission. He thought. And what might that be? Asked Khan in a serious tone. To his query, Rathnar replied in a tyrannical voice as if he was delivering his imperial decree. Become the new emperor. Out of a sudden, Rathnar proposed to become Khan's mentor, his guide, and even wanted to help him become a demigod. And in return, all he wanted was for Khan to become the next emperor of the Rocco's empire. As for the reason why, Khan had no idea. Why do you want me to do that? Don't tell me you trust me just because I'm your successor? To be honest, I'm the sovereign of the Verlassen fiefdom now, but I have no attachment to the rest of the empire. What you want me to do is too much unnecessary risk. He spoke truthfully. Touch the tablet and meet me inside. We need to talk about this face to face. Said Rathnar. Omega, store the core. Ordered Khan as he took a necessary measure first. Omega stored the massive core in his space ring and disappeared from the place in the next moment. Khan walked forth and placed his hands on the huge golden tablet. Vroom! The following second, everything around Khan suddenly turned white. There were no stones, no ground, or any construct, as if Khan entered a different realm. Is this the Chamber of Exaltation? He asked himself. No, this is just a passage. The one you cannot pass through without my acknowledgement and permission. A tyrannical and stoic voice came from behind Khan, quickly turned around with an alarmed expression. A massive 10-meter-old man sitting on a giant red and golden throne came into sight. On his head was a golden crown and a grisly white beard, as well as a mustache was the first thing Khan noticed. This giant man was covered in gray and golden armor, while on the left side of the throne was an 8-meter-tall greatsword hovering in the air. Khan finally saw what Rathnar Whitlock, the legendary first emperor of the Rocco's empire, looked like. His appearance was oozing with power, responsibility, charisma, leadership, and honor. He looked like those heroes of the legends or someone who trained those heroes himself. Don't worry, this is just my soul form. I'm actually not that big, said Rathnar. What do you want to talk about? Asked Khan. You don't see the big picture, Khan Salvatore. You need me, my knowledge, my methods to survive against the heroes, their churches, and if that punk called the demon god really achieves the realm of true gods. You know what will happen. Only having the Rocco's empire behind you will help you survive and give you enough manpower, authority, and resources to repel your future enemies. Because sooner or later, your identity will be revealed to them even if you don't want to. What I'm offering you now is your only chance to protect yourself since you don't even have your divine weapon, said Rathnar. What do you mean? How will they find out? Asked Khan as he noticed another revelation. The moment you become a saint, every other god and their religious institutes will sense your presence. No other hero has been an exception to this. You're lucky to have survived even till now without anyone finding out about your real identity. Just because Rocco's empire doesn't support any god or follows their doctrine doesn't mean they will look favorably on you either," elaborated Rathnar. "But still, there should be better alternatives than me. If what you say is true, then I will become the biggest threat to the empire itself since others will come after me. Me becoming the emperor will spell more trouble. So why would you want to risk the fate of the whole empire?" asked Khan curiously as he found some answers of his own. "You're an otherworlder. Unlike us. I know that you won't have to leave the world of living even after you become a demigod since you're not naturally born in Vantria. What more could I ask for if a demigod will protect my empire?" explained Rathnar. "As things stand in the current situation, you need me more than I need you," he continued in an authoritative tone. "Fine then, I accept," spoke Khan instantly. "Good. Let me begin the soul pact," spoke Rathnar, and soon 20 different archaic formations surrounded Khan's body, and Rathnar's soul form was being absorbed by Khan through a white fog-like wave. After 1 hour, the procedure was finally done and Khan returned outside of the tablet. "You in there?" asked Khan. "Yes. Our souls have been attached perfectly," replied Rathnar in Khan's mind. Omega then appeared in front of Khan and handed him the Peak Saint's core. But the very moment Khan took the core back in his space ring, "Finally, I am free!" Rathnar's voice resounded in Khan's head, and Khan then completely lost control over his body. "Do you think I'm a fool, boy? I was a Peak Saint when I was alive. Do you really think I can't sense that someone with my family's bloodline is coming here? Did you think I revealed all that information because I trusted or empathized with you? Do you think I needed you to tell me that you had my core? I sensed it as soon as you crossed the final barrier. I was simply waiting for you to come here." Suddenly Rathnar's voice gave Khan a sense of ominous foreboding. "I told you everything I knew about the chosen heroes so that you could trust me. I used your sorry situation against you to make you feel that you needed my help and had to rely on me in order to survive. Since you already have my core, you shall become my vessel." His grim voice sent shivers to Khan. "You bastard! Was that your plan from the beginning?" asked Khan in an enraged tone. "Yes. Although I have a descendant coming here, you're a far better choice. Last time I failed to become a demigod. But with the body of a chosen hero with divine abilities, and my core back to me, I can reach the pinnacle very quickly. I will rip apart everyone who massacred my descendants and reclaim my throne," he declared as Khan kept losing control over his body. "Ha ha 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 ha. You must be really dumb, boy. If you want to survive in this world, you need to look for the worst in people even if they seem trustworthy," said Rathnar, and finally, he gained full control over Khan's body. "Sit in the back from now on. I'm in charge now," spoke Khan, now Rathnar. But before this celebratory scene continued, the real Khan spoke. "System, do it." As soon as Rathnar formed the soul pact with Khan, he immediately tried to take control over the latter's body and revealed the truth about that being his main intention since the very beginning. "System, do it," ordered Khan. Soon, Khan's body arched down and he took a deep breath. "You really need to stop looking down on others if you want to be in charge," spoke the real Khan this time. "What the hell is this?" shouted Rathnar in his mind. At this moment, Rathnar's soul form was put in a different space as if some sort of jail was created just for him. "Can I destroy his soul?" asked Khan. "No. The subject's soul form is currently too strong for the host to destroy. The host will need to at least become a 9th stage saint to completely overpower and absorb or eradicate it," replied the system. "I see. So I'm stuck with this old geezer for some time," spoke Khan. "Hello there." A sudden grim voice resounded in Khan's mind, but this time, it was directed at Rathnar. "What the hell? Why is there a basilisk here? Wait, what kind of basilisk is this? What are these monsters? exclaimed Rathnar again and again as he saw Rudra and the rest of the members of the Legion inside Khan. You even have a mythical rank dragon's body in a separate dimension. What kind of freak are you? Shouted the first emperor. The kind that outsmarted you, replied Khan with a grin. How? How did you know that I would betray you? Asked the Peak Saint. Well, you played your part perfectly. If I was a fool, I truly would have believed you seeing your sincerity. But the thing is, your deal was simply too shady, said Khan and continued, if you truly wanted to share the tablet and the truth about how to become a demigod with someone worthy, you wouldn't have made the whole successor thing in the first place. Back when I acquired your core 2 years ago, all Lesren Michelson, the first sage's remnant soul did was just inquire about me being a citizen of the Rakos Empire. He did not test my capabilities, background, intentions or loyalty toward the Empire or the Imperial family. He just bound the core to my body as if he wanted to get rid of it. Elaborated Khan. And after hearing about how you chose not to tell even your descendants about the secret or even your core, I came to a final conclusion. The whole successor thing was just a front. In reality, you just wanted a body to control and return. Anyone strong and greedy enough would have eventually contacted the Imperial family after finding your core and hearing the final message from the first sage in order to become the emperor, and they would have been brought here by your descendants. I'm certain you made arrangements for everything. Just that the Imperial family getting wiped out was not under your expectations when you planned all of this. Explained Khan with a smile on his face. Hence, I already prepared for you betraying me as soon as we made the soul pact. Ha 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 ha. To get outplayed by a brat who was born yesterday. I really have gotten old, it seems. Spoke Rathnar as he kept laughing hysterically. Have you gone senile, old man? Are you sure you should be still laughing? Asked Khan with curiosity. You don't get it, do you? You're still screwed regardless of who's in charge. Only I can control the Tablet of Arcana and have the access to Chamber of Exaltation. And know the location of my other part of the soul which holds the truth to becoming a demigod. Do you think those 3 noble factions sent you here to retrieve the tablet without knowing about it? Why do you think they went as far as eradicating my kin? And now, if they want it, they'd have to extract my soul from your body, said the old emperor. Khan's eyes were wide open as soon as he heard the Peak Saint. To extract one's soul from a body, I guess you're smart enough to know what it truly entails, he said and kept laughing like a maniac as he rejoiced in Khan's current predicament. You mean, the factions already knew about this and sent all of us here regardless? That no matter who got the tablet among the young generation, their fate was going to be the same? Asked Khan with a flabbergasted expression. Ha ha ha, you have a good head over your shoulders. Whether it was you, that mage who was killed, or that half-breed demonkin girl with my bloodline, if any one of you got hands on the Tablet of Arcana, they planned to kill that person to get the ownership of the tablet as soon as you exited the barriers prohibiting a saint from entering here. All of you were nothing but small pawns since the beginning. Revealed Rathnar. Lies. You're just making a fat lie to get in my head so that I'd be forced to listen to you now that you can't control my body, said Khan in denial. Tell me, why did you decide to make the pact with me if you knew I was most likely to double-cross you? Asked Rathnar. What choice did I have? If I put you in a box, I'd get the tablet and leave peacefully, and rest would be their problem, replied Khan with a serious voice. Look at your options now, boy. When you become a saint, your presence will be noticed by the gods and their representatives. But if you stay here, you will be hunted down by the noble factions for the Tablet of Arcana. And you can't stay inside Verlassen unless you want to stay as a semi-saint for the rest of your life. Even here, you will have to be constantly at war. On one side of the Rakos Empire, there's only Abyss Forest where you will definitely die since any god beasts will be able to sense your presence after you become a saint. Everything is against you at the moment. So tell me, who should be the one laughing now? Elaborated Rathnar. Like a lightning bolt, Khan was struck with this unforeseeable truth. And with a terrified voice, he spoke to himself, I need to get out of this empire.